The Queen of Hearts. The rice pudding. The king sat down, a royal frown upon his royal brow. This week quite thrice I've eaten rice, and it's but Monday now. The royal nose went up so high 'twas quite a sight to see. Then said the queen, "Your Majesty, I'll make some tarts for tea." The cookery. With royal mien then fetched the queen some jam from out her store. The rolling pin she held, the jam the knave behind her bore. And when the kitchen they had reached, around her royal waist her Majesty her apron tied, then made a royal paste. The Queen of Hearts she made some tarts upon a summer's day. The tarts. The Queen of Hearts she made those tarts and put them in to bake. They smelt so sweet and good to eat, they made the knave quite ache. "I'm sick of rice, those do smell nice, I'll have a look, just one." "I really think," that sad knave said, "that they must all be done." The Knave of Hearts looked at those tarts, so jammy and so light. He looked, and looked, until his mouth quite watered at the sight. The theft. The Knave of Hearts he stole those tarts, and took them right away, and hid them in the rabbit hutch, upon that summer's day. Now in the rabbit hutch there lived the rabbit of the queen, with furry coat of snowy hue, the whitest ever seen. Meanwhile the queen the kitchen sought, she could do naught but stare. For when she opened the oven door, behold no tarts were there. The Knave of Hearts he stole those tarts and took them right away. The rabbit. "I'll tell," said Bunny, looking fierce, "'twas you who stole the tarts." "You will you?" in angry tone, replied the Knave of Hearts. He took the rabbit by the ears, and shook him till he ached. And Bunny wished he'd never seen those tarts the queen had baked. The tarts stopped in the rabbit hutch, the rabbit too stopped there. The knave thought now about the tarts, to tell he'd never dare. The dream and the awakening. The King of Hearts dreamed of those tarts, for they were royal things. And in his dream they flying came, for each jam tart had wings. They smelt so sweet, they looked so good, the king woke with a start. "'Tis surely tea time, come my queen, and bring me a jam tart." Beside his chair now stood the queen, and bitterly she wept. "Those tarts have been all made, and baked, and stolen while you slept." The King of Hearts called for those tarts and beat the knave full sore. The rabbit's revenge. Now in his hutch the rabbit much reflected what to do. Of bunnies he was quite the best, and quite the wisest too. He put his glasses on his nose, his pen into his paw, and wrote upon a foolscap sheet all that he heard and saw of Knave of Hearts and those jam tarts, and quickly to the king he sped, and said, "Your Majesty, I know who did the thing." The report and punishment. With great surprise and eager eyes the king read, "Knave of Hearts is that most wicked cruel thief who stole the royal tarts." And not far distant stood the knave, he trembled in his shoes. Right well he guessed what's on the sheet, the king did now peruse. The king took down his royal birch, and with his royal hand he beat full sore that Knave of Hearts, till he could hardly stand. The Knave of Hearts brought back those tarts and vowed he'd steal no more. Those tarts again. The Knave of Hearts brought back those tarts, 'twas really very hard. And Bunny dragged him by a rope, both to and from the yard. Then in the court the knave was brought, and all his tale must tell. And afterwards, for punishment, was locked in prison cell. And there he had to stop until, upon the palace floor, one day before the king he knelt, and vowed he'd steal no more. How those tarts tasted! And now you have heard of the Queen of Hearts. You have heard how she made those jammy tarts. You have also heard how the knave was beaten, but not yet heard how those tarts were eaten. But eaten they were, and all said how nice. We like them better than pudding of rice. Grace C. Floyd.